Okay, we need to take a look at this. Peterson and Rogan absolutely rip the trans pushers to shreds.
Undergo a fair bit of confusion when they hit puberty, and that would take the form of negative emotion. No one told her that. They just rushed her down the puberty blocking and surgical pathway. That's inexcusable.
It's evil.
Yeah, it is. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing I've seen professionals do, not only in my lifetime. I've studied atrocity for 40 years. I've never seen anything worse than what's happening right now. And that includes the sorts of things that were done in the camps in Germany. At least the goddamn Nazis admitted what they did was wrong. They tried to hide it. We trumpet it as a moral virtue. We're freeing the children. It's like, no, I don't think so, mothers. I think what you're doing is sacrificing your child to the parading of your moral virtue. Oh, my son, he's so confused. He thinks he's a girl, but I still love him. That's how wonderful I am. Jesus Christ, Joe. You have no idea how dark that is.
Yeah, and it's even worse when the state is actively facilitating it. Here, this is from just a couple of weeks ago. California, first state to ban school rules requiring parents to be notified of child's pronoun change. So California and Gavin Newsom don't want parents to know when their kid is being socially transitioned at school, which is obviously the gateway to sterilization, mutilation, and a lifetime of medicalization. And California does not want the parents to know what's happening, whether or not they're being influenced by a purple-haired gremlin teacher, by an ideological counselor, or just peer pressure. Because, as it turns out, young people are extremely impressionable and easily influenced and unable to make informed decisions because they're just simply too young. That's why we don't let 14-year-olds buy booze or cigarettes or drive or vote. But let's continue.
It's dark.
It's unbelievably dark.
And it's attached to an industry now.
Yeah, that's
which is
for
very
sure.
scary. There was
an industry and an ideology.
There was an article that was recently released where this person admitted that they said it was what was the exact phrase? That the way they described gender transition as life-saving medical care in order to get insurance for it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise insurance won't pay for it. So they were willing to describe it in that way to ensure that people would profit off of it, which is wild.
It's
terrifying. And it's so strange because I never would have believed that this could happen. If you had asked me 20 years ago if this was going to be a main concern, that people were worried about their children being roped into this ideology and convinced that they're
and then sterilized and mutilated.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Terrifying.
Well, it's no wonder people see, even Michael Schellenberger, who broke the WPATH files, when we talked about.
I'm just going to pause that video for a second just to explain what WPATH is. WPATH is the World Professional Association of Transgender Health. It's a fraudulent medical association, the internal files of which, including Zoom meetings, were leaked to Michael Schellenberger. And in these files, in these videos, you can see that the organization is totally pseudoscientific. And the so-called professionals themselves admit in these Zoom meetings that the children that they're performing these experiments on don't understand the consequences. And in fact, can't understand the consequences and therefore cannot give informed consent. I've made a separate video on that, so subscribe to the channel and you can find that video and watch it.
The role the WPATH played in establishing their own ideology-addled butchery as the standard of care for the American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Psychological Association. Schellenberger said that after he had listened to Abigail Schreier and I talk about this trans mutilation, he was so appalled that he literally couldn't believe it. He just shelved it. Said, there's no way this can be true. And I can understand that because the more you look into it, the worse it gets.
Right.
It's unbelievably bad. These surgical procedures are so brutal and so experimental that they're I'm going to say it again, they're worse than what the Mengele types did in the concentration camps in the 30s and 40s. And that's a pretty goddamn low bar.
Peterson gets a lot of grief, but where are you going to get that kind of moral clarity? You don't get it from many places. This kind of moral clarity is priceless. And, Rogan makes the point that, not that long ago, he never would have believed mutilation, sterilization, permanent medicalization. I think a lot of us are in that same boat. Like, you couldn't have believed it 10 years ago. Like, liberals 20 years ago never would have believed this. No, there's no way society would do that. I mean, that's obviously crazy. Yet here we are. Here we find ourselves. It's up to people like Jordan Peterson to offer moral clarity on this. Let's see. Xerxes says, yes, demonic. Or JJ Nevada said demonic. And then Xerxes says, yes, demonic. Who could have imagined that what we are living through today? Yeah, aside from how shocking the things that are being done in the name of a ludicrous ideology are, no matter how shocking those things are, the fact that we got here in the first place is genuinely shocking. The fact that so many people were willing to bend the knee to this, to allow it to prosper, to put their head down, to just get along, is shocking. I mean, the level of societal cowardice is shocking. Now, I think it will turn around, but it's going to take a little while. It's going to take lawsuits. I'm afraid that's just the sad truth. It'll be self-interest that rings the death knell for this insane, ludicrous ideology. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.